So we're here today talking all things greenhouse and where we've got to with the progress on that. So let's run through it and show you what we've done so far. So originally we were going to put this greenhouse on slabs, but there's a bit of a runoff in the plot here, so what I ended up doing is just putting it on these timbers and then put some bricks in the corners just to get it level, and then use some stakes just to get the base level. So went together all pretty okay. It's actually reasonably straightforward because this is it's not aluminium, it's an old steel greenhouse, so it's steel frame one. So the front and the back and the sides all come as one piece, and then you just got to secure these top bars in, and then we put the little window over on this side. So we've got that nice and level. What we've also done is put some brackets on the side. I'll show you those. So what we've done is just riveted some brackets onto the side here, and put those all the way around, and that's going to become, we're going to put the some sort of cladding over these brackets, and then fix the guttering to that. Now the next thing that we need to do is get the polycarbonate sheeting for the greenhouse. I'm going to go for 10mm, just to give us that extra little bit of heat. One of the issues we do have is that because this is an old steel frame, it's only like a T-bar section here. There's no, like normally on an aluminium greenhouse you'll have like a little overlap here, which allows you to put the panel in, then put those little W clips in to secure the panels. This is quite an old greenhouse frame, so traditionally what you'd do is you'd put glass in here and then use just normal glazing putty to actually putty the glass in, but we don't have that option. Well, we could putty the polycarbonate in, but it's a faff, and if we ever want to change any of the panels. So the aim is we've got a little bit of an overlap obviously where the panel goes in. So the idea at the moment is that when we put the polycarbonate sheeting in, what we'll do is we'll get some self-tapping screws through the polycarbonate and just pilot some holes, and then use the self-tapping screws to actually cut into the actual metal frame, and then we'll just put some sort of plastic, either cut off the screws or put some plastic end caps on the inside to actually get that working. So next job is to get the polycarbonate, which we got on order, should be coming this week. It's 150 panels in the side here and 122 panels, and they're standard greenhouse 61 centimeters wide. So we'll get the roofing done first, and then we'll put the side panels in, because obviously we want to get the roofing. It'd be easier when we've got this open, rather than put these side panels in and then be struggling to get to the roofing bars. So we just have to do that, work our way across from one side to the other, and then do the other. Now they actually came in packs of 6, so we've got 12 150s and 12 110s, which means that we will be one short, I think, which will be the door frame, but we have got some 6mm polycarbonate left over from previous projects, which we'll just use for the door frame for the time being. So here we are. So that gives us a good space. This actual polytunnel is about 190 by about 240. So give us a good growing space. So that's the priority really, is to get the polycarbonate in here, get the frame round for the guttering, and get that guttering going off into the water butt over the back there. So that's where we are. Join me in a couple of days time. Well, say a couple of days time, it'll be the second part of this video, when we've got the actual polycarbonate sheets, and we're starting to put those in and see how those self-tapping screws work. As I say, I'm hoping that we just put a couple in here either side, perhaps 3 down the side there, and in the top here probably a couple, and then a couple up there, so sort of 8 screws all the way around, and hopefully that will hold it securely enough so that it doesn't blow out, or it doesn't and it keeps it really rigid and good structure. I mean, mind you, this is a really rigid structure anyway. I've had aluminium, basically aluminium greenhouses in the past, and essentially they're as like jelly until you can bolt them all together, but they're like jelly until you actually get the glazing in, which sort of firms it up. This is pretty, I mean, it's got a bit of rock in it, but it's pretty firm and pretty hefty greenhouse frame anyway, so so it's pretty secure already. So we'll get those roof sheets in, and then we'll join me again at the second part of this video when we start glazing it. So as you can see, we've got the polycarbonate and we've fitted that, and we've just got our last piece to fit in the door. We went for the option, we pre-drilled some full mill holes in the frame round, and then we used these 5.5 mil self-tapping screws to go through the polycarbonate into the frame, and that's got it pretty things. And then we just used some of these which are cladding joining strips just to join the panels where we need to. And then we've also got the guttering on running into the IBC tank. So it's just a case of getting this last panel in the doorway, and we are fully sealed in. So this should go in. I've measured it up. Fits like a glove. And then we're just going to get our self-tapping screws. Let's get the right chuck bit in. And then we've just taken these straight through the polycarbonate. And just to seal that in. As simple as that. So I'm going to get on and finish this one off, and then we'll talk about the rest of the greenhouse and what we've still got left to do. So there we go. And I thought it was going to be a piece short, but in actual fact we had 12 pieces, and because these little top corner pieces, actually we got all 4 of those out of one sheet. We ended up with this little bit, another little bit like that, and this bit, and that's what we had left over from all the sheets. So we managed to do it all. It's all done, as I said earlier, with 10 mil polycarbonate, so it should be nice and toasty in there. The only thing that we have to sort out, and show you a bit closer, is obviously where we've drilled through, we've got these little screws coming out. So some of these will angle grind off, but for the majority of them we've just got these little rubber covers which just go over the top, which just will mean that you're not catching yourself on the sharp edges. So we're going to put those little covers on, and then we'll can sort out the inside. So that's talking about the inside part of this. Let's lower you down a bit there. Stop the door closing on the camera. So inside now, oh, camera's just bashing the door. We've still got this gap here. Obviously there's a big gap underneath here because we had to try and get it level. So just need to get that sealed up. So I think initially what we're going to do is we will fill in with some bricks, but all the bricks are being used for the covers at the moment until we get the actual hoops houses on those. So for the time being, what we're going to do is just going to get some wood. We've got some like fence panel pieces knocking around, so what we're going to do is we're going to get those and just put those along the bottom here for the time being, just to start the majority of the draft. And then when we get a chance to use the bricks, what we'll do is we'll just backfill underneath these bars with the bricks, because I can feel quite a breeze coming through there. The other thing we're going to be doing is monitoring the temperatures to see what the difference is between in here and outside. So let me just show you how we're going to be doing that. So the way we're going to be doing the temperatures, stick a bit sticky up there. is that we've got these little switch spot temperature monitors, and we're going to have one outside, one in the greenhouse, and then we're going to monitor those, how they do. I'll talk more about these in a later video when we've done some monitoring and we've got some results to show. But essentially they are little devices that record the temperature over time, and then you connect your phone to it via Bluetooth and it will download all the data over a period of time. So that way we'll be able to compare a like-for-like time period for one that's outside and one that's in the greenhouse. So let's go and hang that up. So for the time being, we'll just hang it on there until we've got some racks in here, and we'll see how that does. But now, before we get on to doing that, what I want to do is we've had the pipes arrive for the polytunnel. Now we're not going to do much with the polytunnel at the moment, but I do want to get the pipes installed. Now this is particularly a two-man job, but there is only one of me today, so I have managed to do this, a couple of the pipes with just one of me, and so we'll install that pipe. You can have a good laugh while you see how hard it is to fit a 6 metre pipe to a set of poles. Right, so we've got our 6 metre poles. So we'll talk about the actual sizes now. And so traditionally, what most people use when they're doing polytunnels out of MDPE pipe and scaffolding poles is they'll use a full size scaffolding pole, and then they'll use a 63mm pipe. Now a full width scaffolding pole is about 49mm, or about 45, I think it's 49.7mm in size. So, and then a 63mm MDPE pipe is actually just about 51mm inside. So that gives you like a 1 to 2mm tolerance for putting these on. And I know I've seen other videos of people and they've had to like lubricate these, put Vaseline on them, put oil on them, everything else to try and get those pipes to slide down. Now our polytunnel is only 2.4 meters wide, so we don't need to be quite so strict with the actual thicker pipe. And 50mm, so what we've gone with is for 50mm pipe. Okay, so 50mm pipe has a 40mm around that inner diameter. These poles that we put in are actually 33.7mm scaffolding poles, which is one size down from full size. So what we're going to do is we're going to get these pipes on. That gives us a 7mm tolerance, and that is more than sufficient. Once we've got the pipes in place, we'll be putting some tapping screws through from the pipes from the plastic into these pipes anyway to hold them in place. But let me just show you how easy or difficult it is to get one of these pipes on all on your own. So I'm going to put this up. It's 6 meters in the air. So the difficult bit here is this bit, because the top wobbles around all over the place. So once you've got it up there, you've got it sky high. So it's just a case of actually getting that, walking it down. Yep. There we go. Looking good so far. So what we're going to do is we're going to do it with the second one, the last one, because we stopped for a conversation between the first one. What we're going to do is get this on. The difficult bit is when you've got it up vertically, it just wobbles around all over the place and it is really hard to control. But once you get there, you can work it quite easily. So we'll get this roughly in position. Let's say this is the difficult bit because the top of the pole wobbles around all over the place. There we go. Once that's on, that's the hard bit. This, obviously, it's just a case of pulling this down, grabbing the end, getting the bend you want, and then it slides down. And then on this side, it just goes to straighten it up to push it down. And there we go. So let's have a quick look at those pipes installed. Come down to this end, and there we have our 6 pipes all installed. All looking good. And then what we just need to do is get those leveled out, get a ridge pole across the top, and get the surrounding. But that's all for later on, because we don't want to do much more than that for the polytunnel at the time being, until we've finished in the greenhouse and got that set up. So I'm going to crack on and get on with putting those caps on those screws, and then also putting some wood around the bottom. But let's have a look at how the plot's looking so far. So we've got our beds in place, and we've got our greenhouse all finished outside, and it's all a good job done. We'll catch you again next time. Cheerio.